Hello, my friend. Welcome to my Fall Asleep channel, a place created for calm, rest, and gentle nights. If you enjoy peaceful stories like this, you are warmly invited to subscribe and return whenever you need to slow down. Now allow yourself to get comfortable, let the day fade away, and enjoy a quiet and pleasant rest. In the previous story, we were drifting through Milky Way. Now, our next stop, Andromeda. Let's begin. The room around you is dark now, not empty, just quiet enough that it no longer asks anything from you. The edges of the space have softened, and your body knows exactly where it is resting. Notice the simple fact of support beneath you, how the surface below carries your weight without effort or comment. Your shoulders respond first, sinking a little, as if gravity has finally been given permission to do its work. There is no need to hold them up anymore. Breath moves in, calm and unforced, and then moves out again, longer this time. Each exhale making a small, honest space inside your chest. Bring gentle attention to your jaw, a place where the day often lingers without being invited. Conversations, decisions, tiny tensions stored there quietly. Allow the jaw to loosen, teeth part slightly, the tongue resting wide and still, as if it has reached the end of a long journey. A subtle release, but a meaningful one. Now the hands. They have shaped the hours, lifted and held and reached forward again and again. Let the fingers uncurl, palms softening, warmth spreading through joints that no longer need to be precise, hands remembering how to be at rest. Breathing continues, slow, even, reliable, in and out, nothing to improve, nothing to manage. Somewhere beyond the walls of this room, night has settled over the planet, the earth turning as it always has, at a speed you never feel, carrying oceans, cities, quiet fields, and this exact moment through space. There may be a window nearby. You do not need to look through it. Awareness drifts outward on its own, past glass, past rooftops, into open air that cools and stills as it rises. Above the atmosphere, the sky deepens into something older and more patient. Stars appear, not all at once, but gradually. Points of light that are not small at all, only distant. Each one a fusion furnace, converting hydrogen into helium, releasing energy that travels for years, centuries, millennia before arriving anywhere. The familiar arc of the Milky Way stretches across the darkness, a flattened spiral galaxy nearly 100,000 light-years wide, containing hundreds of billions of stars, dust lanes, molecular clouds, and the slow architecture of gravity. This is the home galaxy of your atoms, your planet, your history. And yet, even here, the silence is complete. Beyond this soft river of light, farther than the eye can resolve, there is another presence, faint, steady, not flashing or demanding. Andromeda, a spiral galaxy like your own, but larger, approximately 2.5 million light-years away, so distant that the light reaching you tonight began its journey before modern humans existed, before cities, before writing, before memory as you know it. The awareness of distance stretches gently, without strain. There is no sensation of speed as you begin to drift away from familiar stars. No acceleration, just a gradual widening of space. The Milky Way thinning behind you, its spiral arms dissolving into a pale suggestion. Between galaxies, the universe becomes even quieter. Here, matter is sparse, a few atoms per cubic meter. Dark matter forming invisible scaffolding that guides motion without ever being seen. Gravity still present, still precise, but working on timescales so long they feel like rest. Andromeda grows slowly in form, its spiral arms resolving, a bright central bulge dense with old stars. vast lanes of gas where new stars are still forming, nearly 1 trillion suns bound together, each following predictable paths shaped by mass and time. This galaxy is moving toward your own, not rapidly, not violently. Measurements show a slight blue shift in its light, wavelengths compressed just enough to reveal approach, a motion so gentle it will take billions of years to complete. When the two galaxies eventually meet, stars will pass one another with immense distances between them, an interweaving rather than a collision, a long, quiet merging guided entirely by gravity. You drift now through the outer halo of Andromeda, ancient stars scattered thinly across enormous volumes, some more than 10 billion years old, survivors from an earlier universe, their light steady, subdued, enduring. Farther in, regions where stars are reaching the end of their lives, expanding, cooling, releasing elements forged in their cores: carbon, oxygen, iron, the materials of planets, oceans, and living bodies. Elsewhere, cold clouds contract almost imperceptibly, gravity drawing particles together until pressure and heat ignite something new. Star birth without sound, without announcement, just physics unfolding. Time here does not feel like a sequence. It feels like a wide, unbroken field, nothing urging you forward, nothing pulling you back. Your breath remains slow, your body heavy and safe. Thoughts begin to thin, not pushed away, simply no longer held. Awareness floating, as galaxies do, inside patterns that do not hurry. And somewhere within this vast motion, rest deepens, naturally, quietly, without needing to reach an ending. You drift deeper now, not toward a center, not toward a destination, just further into scale. The sense of movement is so slow it barely registers, like continental plates sliding beneath oceans. Andromeda surrounds you without closing in. Its spiral arms are not walls but currents, wide arcs of stars tracing paths set billions of years ago. Each star following an orbit governed by mass, momentum, and the quiet mathematics of gravity. Here, distances are measured in light years, yet nothing feels far away. The mind begins to lose its habit of counting. Time stretches, becoming less a sequence and more a condition. Some of the stars you pass are blue and massive, burning intensely, living fast, their lifespans counted in only a few million years. Others glow red and steady, small and efficient, capable of shining for tens of billions of years, longer than the universe has existed so far. Planetary systems move with them, unseen, circling in silence, worlds frozen, worlds molten, worlds still forming from disks of dust, all of it unfolding without observation, without record. In the denser regions, gravity binds stars into clusters, loose families drifting together before slowly dispersing again. Nothing here holds on too tightly. Even structure understands the value of release. The galactic core glows brighter now, crowded with ancient stars orbiting close together. At its center, a supermassive black hole rests, millions of times the mass of your sun, not feeding, not active, simply present. Curvature in space-time so deep that orbits bend gently around it. Yet even here, there is no violence, only balance. The universe prefers stability whenever it can. You pass through lanes of interstellar dust, grains smaller than smoke particles, scattered so widely they almost never touch. They dim starlight slightly, reddening it, stretching wavelengths as distance grows. This same dust will one day become planets, atmospheres, perhaps life. Nothing is wasted on this scale. Everything is reused, recycled across eras. The awareness of your own body continues to soften, muscles no longer reporting their position. The boundary between you and the drift becoming less defined. Breathing remains, slow, even, automatic. each breath a reminder that systems know how to regulate themselves. You do not have to supervise them. The galaxy continues its rotation, a full turn taking hundreds of millions of years, arms winding, stars moving in and out of dense regions like long tides. This motion has been uninterrupted since before your planet formed. It will continue long after tonight has passed, and somehow that constancy allows you to let go more completely. Concerns lose their sharp edges. They become distant, like stars seen from far away, still real, but no longer urgent. Here, vastness is not overwhelming. It is supportive. It holds everything without needing to name it. And as this realization settles, thought slows further. Spaces between moments widen. Awareness drifts, carried by laws older than memory, moving without effort, resting inside motion itself. And the galaxy keeps turning, patiently, endlessly, as you continue to drift. The sense of direction fades now, not because you are lost, but because direction no longer matters. Above and below dissolve into a single field of quiet motion. Andromeda's stars continue their long orbits, each one tracing a path shaped by gravity, acting over incomprehensible spans of time. Some of these stars were already old when the first galaxies were forming, their nuclear fuel burning slowly, steadily, with no awareness of observation. Others are newly ignited, their light still cutting through surrounding gas, carving faint cavities in the darkness. There is no sound to any of this. Space carries no vibration. All change happens in complete silence. Even supernovae, when they occur, release their energy without a whisper, expanding shells of enriched matter moving outward for tens of thousands of years. Those shock waves have passed here long ago. What remains is calm, the afterstate, regions where the universe has already done its loud work and settled again. Your awareness drifts through these calmer zones, places where star density thins and light becomes more diffuse. The brightness softens, colors mute, motion stretches so long it feels like stillness. Time no longer presses forward, it opens outward. Moments no longer stack, they widen, and in that widening, the mind releases its habit of tracking. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to recall, only continuation. Breathing becomes so gentle it almost disappears from notice. The body trusts the rhythm without checking it. Gravity continues to hold you, even here, even now. The same force binding galaxies also holds the Earth beneath your resting place. There has never been a moment when it stopped. The thought drifts by and passes without needing attention. Nearby, pairs of stars orbit one another, binary systems locked in slow, mutual arcs, some exchanging matter, some simply keeping distance, each partnership stable in its own way. Planets move around them, unseen but precise, orbital paths repeating again and again with patient accuracy. Repetition here is not boredom, it is reliability, a kind of cosmic breathing, in and out over millions of years. As you drift farther from the denser arms, the galaxy's glow becomes a faint backdrop. Individual stars blur into a gentle haze. The light arriving here left its source long before the idea of a night sky ever formed in a human mind. That distance makes no demand on you. It simply exists, and you exist within it. Thoughts slow to fragments, impressions rather than sentences. A sense of being held inside something immeasurably larger, and yet completely indifferent in a peaceful way. Nothing watching, nothing judging, just structure and motion continuing as they always have. The drift becomes more repetitive now, more rhythmic, turning, floating, resting, turning, floating, resting, each cycle quieter than the last, awareness thinning like mist at dawn. The universe does not ask you to stay awake for this. It carries on whether you observe it or not. Stars continue burning. Galaxies continue moving toward one another, their blue shifted light inching closer over billions of years, everything progressing at its natural pace, and you are free to let go completely, free to rest inside this vast, steady process. Thoughts trailing off, sensations dimming, the drift continuing, without urgency, without edges, held, always held, as you rest. Nothing new is introduced now, only continuation, the kind that does not announce itself, the kind that simply remains when effort falls away. Andromeda's outer regions thin further, stars spaced so widely that their light barely overlaps. Between them, long stretches of darkness where a single atom might wander for years without encountering another. Even here, structure exists. Faint gravitational currents shaping motion so slowly it feels eternal. The universe has learned patience. It had no choice. Your awareness mirrors that patience now. There is no impulse to label, to follow, to complete. The mind loosens its grip on sequence. Thoughts appear only as soft impressions, then dissolve before forming edges. Breath continues somewhere in the background, steady, self-sustaining, a system that does not require supervision. Time continues its long expansion, not forward, not backward, simply outward. Distances remain vast, but they no longer register as distance. They feel like space to rest within. Somewhere, far beyond this galaxy, other galaxies move as well. Clusters bound together, superclusters stretching along filaments of dark matter, walls and voids on scales too large to visualize. The observable universe expanding, space itself growing between everything, a fact measured carefully by those who look for it. Yet here, it feels like openness rather than motion, expansion as permission, not pressure. Andromeda continues its slow approach toward your own galaxy, a closing of distance that will take longer than memory, longer than species, longer than the Earth has existed so far. Stars will pass without contact. Orbits will stretch and reconfigure. New structures will form quietly. Nothing rushed, nothing harmed, just rearranged. Your body is distant now, not gone, simply unremarked. Weight remains, but it no longer demands attention. Muscles rest in their most economical state. The nervous system chooses calm as its default. This is what it evolved to do when danger is absent. And here, danger has no meaning. Repetition settles in more deeply. Drift, stillness, drift, stillness. Each cycle softer, longer. Awareness moving toward a place where even words become unnecessary. The universe does not end. It does not conclude. It continues. Stars aging, space stretching, gravity holding. And within that ongoing balance, rest becomes complete. There is nothing left to listen for, nothing left to follow. Only the steady presence of what has always been there and what will continue long after sleep has taken you, drifting, quiet, unbroken. The continuity remains, smooth, uninterrupted, as if the universe itself has exhaled and chosen not to inhale just yet. Motion persists, but it is so evenly distributed that it feels like rest. Andromeda no longer presents itself as a place, but as an environment, a condition of existence rather than a destination. Stars continue their nuclear work without awareness, hydrogen fusing into helium, energy released according to equations that never change, pressure balanced perfectly against gravity, moment by moment, for billions of years at a time. Some stars have already exhausted their fuel, cooling remnants now. White dwarfs radiating stored heat into space so slowly that their fading will outlast civilizations. planets, even galaxies as they are now. Neutron stars spin quietly somewhere distant, dense beyond intuition. Matter compressed to limits that resist further collapse. Physics holding the line, always holding. The black hole at the galactic center remains distant now, not pulling, not calling, simply shaping orbits in silence. Even the most extreme objects in the universe are patient when viewed on the right scale. Patience becomes the dominant sensation, not as effort, but as absence of urgency. Awareness floats without anchoring, without needing to return anywhere. Breath continues to arrive and leave on its own schedule. The body trusting processes refined over millions of years of evolution. Heart rhythm steady, blood moving without instruction. The same quiet intelligence that shapes galaxies also shapes rest. Repetition deepens further, familiar now, comforting. Drift, pause, drift, pause. Nothing changes, and yet nothing is static. Subtle variations occur without significance. Stars move imperceptibly along their arcs. Light advances centimeter by centimeter across unimaginable distances. Time does what it always does. It passes, not quickly, not slowly, just consistently. Thoughts no longer form questions. They barely form shapes. Awareness becomes a wide, receptive field, capable of holding vastness without strain. The sense of self softens, edges blur, not disappearing, just relaxing. Identity no longer needs definition here, only presence. Somewhere far behind, the Milky Way continues its own rotation, its own star formation, its own slow approach toward this galaxy, both moving within a larger gravitational context. The local group bound together, drifting through expanding space, everything nested inside something larger and larger still, yet none of it collapses inward, none of it falls apart. Balance persists. This knowledge does not need to be understood. It only needs to be felt, and even that feeling grows faint, replaced by something quieter, something closer to stillness, awareness thinning, spreading, resting, carried by laws that do not fail, held by structures that do not sleep, as you do, drifting, remaining, always within the motion, always within the calm. The drift does not deepen so much as it widens, like a horizon that keeps moving farther away the more you relax into it. Andromeda becomes less a collection of stars and more a soft, distributed glow, a memory of structure rather than structure itself. Light here has traveled so long that its origin feels irrelevant. Photons arrive without urgency, carrying no message, only presence. The laws that guide them never pause. Speed remains constant. Direction bends only where mass asks it to. Nothing negotiates, nothing resists. This reliability settles into you. The nervous system recognizes it as safety and lets go further. The body no longer distinguishes clearly between contact and space. Weight exists, but without commentary. Breath continues, shallow now, slow, efficient. Oxygen exchanged quietly. Carbon released back into the air. A cycle as old as multicellular life, older still in its chemical roots. Atoms that once passed through stars now pass through lungs. This thought drifts by without needing completion. Stars continue aging, some expanding gently into red giants, their outer layers thinning, cooling, drifting outward to seed the interstellar medium. Others collapsing inward when fusion can no longer support them, gravity completing its work, leaving behind dense cores, quiet remnants, none of it rushed, none of it delayed, just sequence unfolding at the only pace it can. The universe does not hurry itself. It has nowhere else to be. Repetition settles again. motion without destination, stillness without stopping. Awareness floats between these states effortlessly, as if they were the same thing. Time feels less like duration and more like texture, smooth, continuous, without edges. There is no beginning point to return to, no ending point to anticipate. The mind no longer looks for narrative, only continuity. Somewhere in the vast distances beyond Andromeda, background radiation fills all of space. The faint afterglow of the early universe, cooled now to just a few degrees above absolute zero. A reminder that even the beginning has become quiet. Expansion continues everywhere at once, space itself stretching, galaxies carried along like islands on a slow, invisible current. Nothing needs to be steered. Nothing needs correction. Your role in this is simple: to rest, to allow, to drift inside processes that have never required your attention. The sense of effort dissolves almost completely. Awareness becomes thin, diffuse, like starlight spread across dust. Thoughts no longer arrive in language, only in gentle impressions that fade as soon as they appear. The universe remains, steady, immense, uninterested in interruption, and that constancy allows sleep to settle fully, not as an event, but as a continuation. The same way night follows evening, the same way galaxies follow gravity, the same way breath follows breath, drifting, resting, unbroken, always carried. The sense of scale continues to expand without effort, as if awareness has stepped back far enough that even vastness feels gentle. Andromeda is now only a faint presence, its individual stars no longer distinct, just a soft concentration of light embedded in a much larger darkness. Beyond it, countless other galaxies exist in similar silence, some larger, some smaller, each with its own slow rotations, its own histories unfolding without witness. Many are moving away from one another as space itself expands, a discovery made through careful measurement of redshift, light stretched by distance, a universe not static but growing. And yet, from within this drift, expansion feels like openness rather than motion. Room enough for everything to exist without crowding. The body responds to this spaciousness instinctively. Muscles release another layer of tension. The jaw remains loose, the hands still. Breath barely lifts the chest now, efficient, unforced. The heart continues its quiet rhythm, a metronome refined by evolution. No instruction needed. Somewhere far beyond thought, the brain shifts into slower patterns, waves lengthening, synchronizing, awareness thinning into something closer to pure sensation. Then even sensation fades at the edges. Time becomes indistinct. Seconds no longer separate cleanly from minutes. The universe does not mark them either. It measures change in millions and billions of years. Stars forming, stars fading, elements cycling through different states of order and dispersion, entropy increasing slowly, inevitably. Yet even this is not decay. It is redistribution, energy spreading out, finding equilibrium, another form of rest. Black space dominates now, not empty, but calm, threaded with faint radiation, particles passing through one another without notice. Neutrinos streaming from distant stellar cores, rarely interacting, information traveling endlessly with almost nothing to stop it. All of this happening without sound, without light bright enough to disturb. Repetition continues. Drift, openness, drift, openness. Each cycle softer, longer, awareness no longer tracking the pattern, simply resting within it. There is no need to remember where you started. That point has dissolved. There is no need to anticipate where this goes. It continues whether observed or not. Sleep does not arrive as a boundary. It spreads like darkness across a landscape at dusk, gradual, inevitable, gentle, and within that spreading quiet, the universe remains exactly as it is, expanding, balancing, holding, while you rest, fully, deeply, carried inside processes older than thought, older than stars, always continuing, always there. The drift holds steady, not moving forward, not falling away, simply remaining within the wide continuity of space. Awareness now so diffuse that it feels less like observing and more like existing alongside everything else. Galaxies no longer register as separate objects. They are distributions of mass and light, patterns embedded in a much larger quiet, clusters bound loosely by gravity, filaments stretching across hundreds of millions of light years, vast voids between them where almost nothing interrupts the darkness. This large-scale structure emerged slowly after the early universe cooled, matter gathering where density was slightly higher, gravity amplifying the smallest differences over immense time, nothing sudden, nothing forced, the universe building itself patiently. This patience echoes in the body. Muscles remain loose, joints heavy, breath shallow and unremarked. The line between wakefulness and sleep grows thin. Thoughts no longer complete themselves. They dissolve mid-formation, as if language itself is too sharp for this depth. The brain continues slowing, electrical rhythms stretching out, synchronizing across regions that once worked separately, awareness becoming whole by becoming quiet. Time no longer presents itself as passing. It feels more like a broad surface, smooth, continuous, without markers. The expansion of space continues everywhere at once. Galaxies carried apart not by motion through space, but by space itself growing between them. A subtle distinction, one that requires instruments and mathematics to describe. Yet here it feels like gentle permission. Everything allowed its distance, nothing pressing in. The cosmic background remains, a faint, uniform glow left over from when the universe first became transparent to light, cooled now to just above absolute zero, filling all directions equally, a reminder that even beginnings eventually become calm. Repetition deepens again, not as pattern, but as presence. Nothing changes, and yet change never stops. Stars continue their fusion, particles continue their paths, gravity continues its quiet guidance. You do not need to witness any of it. It happens regardless, and that certainty allows the last traces of effort to dissolve. The sense of self softens further, boundaries blur into context, awareness resting without reference point, without center. Sleep does not arrive as an event. It simply becomes the prevailing condition, like space itself, wide, dark, accommodating, and within that accommodation, everything continues, silently, steadily, always unfolding, while you rest, uninterrupted, carried, drifting, remaining. The quiet now is complete enough that it no longer feels like silence. It feels like balance, a state where nothing is missing and nothing is added. Awareness floats within this balance without effort, without direction. Galaxies, once vast and distinct, are now only gentle variations in density, slight gatherings of matter against an otherwise uniform dark. Their motions continue, but so slowly that movement and stillness are indistinguishable. Gravity works everywhere, always, shaping paths that take billions of years to reveal themselves. Even expansion, the stretching of space itself, happens evenly, impartially. No preference, no urgency. The universe has learned how to be patient because patience is the only timescale that works. Your body mirrors this truth instinctively. Breath remains shallow and slow, the heart steady, temperature regulated without attention. systems cooperating quietly, the way they were designed to. There is no longer a need to follow images or ideas. They arise faintly and pass before they can settle. Awareness remains broad, unfocused, receptive, like night sky without a horizon. Somewhere, stars continue to be born in cold molecular clouds, gravity gathering hydrogen until fusion ignites. Elsewhere, old stars cool and dim, releasing their last stored warmth into space. Both processes equally calm, equally unremarkable on this scale. Entropy increases gently, energy spreads, differences even out, the universe moving toward equilibrium without resistance. This is not decay, it is rest extended across everything. Repetition no longer needs to be named. It is simply what remains when intention falls away, drifting without movement, resting without stopping. Time loses its texture entirely. No sense of length, no sense of passage, only continuation. The same way space continues beyond any imagined boundary, sleep deepens naturally inside this continuity, not as a transition, but as a settling, awareness thinning until it is no longer separate from the quiet it rests within. The universe does not notice, it does not need to. Stars burn, space expands, gravity holds, and you remain here, resting inside something vast enough to carry everything, without effort, without end, always continuing. The sense of separation fades almost completely now, not dissolving, just becoming irrelevant. Awareness no longer checks for position or progress. It rests inside continuity the way space rests inside itself. Nothing arrives, nothing departs. Stars continue their long arithmetic of fusion and gravity, equations balanced so precisely they hold for billions of years without correction. Even uncertainty has boundaries here, probabilities settling into patterns that rarely surprise. Galaxies keep their slow conversations across voids, light traveling, being stretched, never lost, only thinned. The universe remains comprehensible even when you stop trying to understand it. The body has followed this lesson quietly, muscles at their lowest tone, breath barely lifting, the heart maintaining rhythm without announcing it. The mind no longer forming images that need completion, only faint impressions, warmth, depth, the feeling of being supported by something vast and neutral, neither protective nor threatening, simply sufficient. Time no longer behaves like a line. It feels like a wide surface, smooth, unbroken, where nothing has to move forward to continue. Sleep has settled so deeply that it no longer feels like sleep. It feels like absence of effort, the most natural state, the one everything returns to when conditions allow, and conditions have allowed, fully. And what remains now is not story, not image, not even drift, just continuation without narrative. The same continuation that carried hydrogen into stars, stars into elements, elements into planets, planets into moments like this. Nothing needs to be held in mind for it to persist. The universe does not require witnesses. It unfolds whether observed or not. Expansion continues, gravity continues, balance continues, quietly, impartially, always. Awareness thins to the point where it no longer distinguishes itself from rest. There is no edge where you end and quiet begins, only a broad, steady presence, like the background of everything. Stars, distant, steady, not calling, not fading, simply there, and the universe continues to hold itself together as you rest, remain, drifting, without needing to arrive, without needing to return, always carried, always continuing.